Whatever. I'm recording now.
Heyo!
Joel was just busting the beasties. He was busting.
Be ad rockin', the place to be. All the girls are on me because I'm down with Mike D. I'm down with Mike D because he ain't no baloney. Blah, 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 phony, O-E, and rice roni. That's it. That's all I got.
That was
Hey,
great,
everybody.
man. That was great.
Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
I feel like
podcast.
that was worth the price of admission alone right there.
That's it. We could shut it down right now.
But we're not gonna. You know
Welcome
why?
to the podcast, everybody. It's brought to you today by Live Kombucha, Cola Kombucha, packed with probiotics. What are you drinking tonight, Steve?
Lime bubbly. It's pretty good. I like it.
Never a bad choice.
Nope. It's good. It's refreshing. It's light and refreshing.
Maybe they should sponsor us.
Maybe they should. I love me some bubbly. I think is that a Pepsi product? Is that one of the big manufacturers?
I thought that one was Coke.
Oh, maybe it is. Nope, it's PepsiCo. So yes, love me some bubbly.
Yeah.
I also enjoy a fine Frito-Lay product periodically.
The barbecue flavor twists, Fritos.
I love them. I also occasionally enjoy me some Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Nope, can't do that. You have fucking chickens in your backyard, man. Come on.
They're delicious.
God damn it. Another company to promote, Pfizer.
Yeah, for real.
I'm pumped up on Pfizer and not that kind.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. Let's clarify here. This is a whole other podcast. Glad we're on Zoom.
It's so funny. It was like, which ones you get? Which ones you? Oh, you got the J&J. I got the Pfizer. I got the Moderna.
Y'all got any more of that Pfizer?
Dude, they're a horrible conglomerate. But you know what? They made a vaccine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fully vaxxed as of today. I got the jab.
You got the jab. Everybody's getting that jab.
Oh yeah, Steve made a Grateful Dead tribute song.
Well, Jack did actually. He wrote the lyrics.
Jack wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
It was my idea.
It was Joel's idea. It was a group project.
I said, Jack, you need to rewrite the lyrics to "Doing That Rag" by the Grateful Dead to get in that jab.
Which
Jack,
he did.
He wrote the lyrics.
They're
and
amazing.
Steve played it.
Mm-hmm.
We got to put that out there.
Yeah, okay. There's a YouTube link. The YouTube's it's not great, but it's it's fun if you're especially for those of you that aren't super doing that rag familiar, it might not mean that very much to you.
It's not one of the most well discussed Grateful Dead songs.
It's kind of it's a silly little song.
Yeah. So I did that.
Yeah.
I ran into some pals at the shot. Well, at the shot clinic, which was essentially us at the Lancaster Event Center. I kind of felt like a cattle being shown off, but I saw pals.
At least you weren't being sent to slaughter.
That's real.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Eduardo, friend of the show. Eduardo was there. I saw our friend Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my friend Janine.
Who we need to get on here.
Dave needs to come on here and talk to us about art.
Yep.
And so I saw some pals. I got the thing.
That's amazing.
Well, I was telling you afterwards, I was like, I can recall right about now a year ago, you were like, well, I'm prepared to do this for about a year and not going anywhere until there's a vaccine. And I thought, man, a year, I feel like we got at least 3 years until we get a legitimate vaccine. But here I am, fully vaxxed.
Yep.
It's amazing.
That's one of those deals where I had faith in modern science.
Yeah, right.
Because technology has advanced so much that, I mean, it was based on nothing more than my non-educated opinion, but I've given people a lot of grief directly and indirectly for just trusting their gut.
Right.
But I thought, it'll probably take a year for there to be a vaccine. I don't even know that I was predicting that time frame. I was just saying, in general, once the numbers and things started coming out in late or this time a year ago,
right?
I'm fully prepared to lock down for a year.
Yeah, and I've said this on the podcast before, but I'm so glad you said that because it just sort of gave me a kind of an expectational window. And you can, if you do something, if you live somewhere new for a year, if you do a habit for a year, if you can kind of, it's doable, So I appreciate that.
Well, and it all comes back to, you just got to do today.
One day at a time, buddy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Like really.
yeah, that's real.
So
yeah.
we first email us
Yeah.
ttbbpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear
Yes.
your thoughts.
Well, it's
and
kind of thinking about the topic we're going to talk about. We're going to kind of
recap.
recap or reflect.
Well, would you say that, Joel, would you say that this is our 21st episode, if you can believe that?
Amazing.
Would you say that the last month has exceeded all your expectations when we started doing this?
Yeah, by leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
really.
right.
Like
Yeah.
we've talked to some amazing people in the last 4 or 5 episodes that have really kind of blown my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's what I wanted to talk about tonight, was like, have we learned anything from any of this?
And the answer is,
I think totally.
I think we've learned a lot. I'm excited to pick your brain about that. And I guess to kind of tag on to the email thing, or I put a question out on Instagram.
Oh, you did?
Trying to be better podcast on Instagram. Let us know what you learned. Like folks have been listening to the podcast. We
love it.
Creeping near 2,000 downloads.
Yeah,
I think, which is amazing. So we'd love to hear what you've learned. Maybe guests that you've really enjoyed, or things that have really landed with you.
The thing that really, well, let's start with Semrad. Semrad, Lincoln, Nebraska music person and impresario and business owner, and just generally far out dude. And I had never spoken with Mike beyond, salutations from across the, while he was playing music, like, hey, man, right on,
Yeah.
But the thing that really, because you've known me for a while, Joel, and you know that, like, I can get pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Uselessly morose and angry. right.
Uselessly morose.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of that line from Visions of Johanna by Bob Dylan, where his little boy lost takes him so seriously. He's sure got a lot of gall to be so useless and all, but like the thing that got me, and I know this about myself, and it's something I work on sometimes. But the thing that really tore the top of my head off from Mike was, he just said, I try to keep it light.
Yeah.
I just keep it light. Yep. But underneath that, and like, I see that, and I see how that's a really positive quality. Like when you're out in public, or just your public brand,
demeanor.
Or what?
Yeah. Demeanor.
Yeah, totally. Like, just keep it light, keep it fun. We're having a good time.
Loose garment.
But underneath that is a tremendous amount of good work.
Yeah.
Like, he literally put together a concert with Willie Nelson and Neil Young in a field in the middle of Nebraska.
Yeah, because he had the thought, well, if we're going to build this little barn to try to stop the pipeline, we should, throw some solar panels on top. And if we're going to throw solar panels on top, we might as well make a record. And if we're going to make a record, we might as well have a show. And if we're going to have a show, we should probably call Willie Nelson and Neil Young. It was just like, that was the thing that stuck with me about that conversation with Mike. And I kind of knew this about him, but I didn't know it was such a part of, like, who he was as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
idea. You know him a lot better than I. You actually, like, know him a little bit, and I totally just did not. He was a public person that I'm aware of,
right,
and enjoy his work. I love the bottle tops; they're great.
But what I didn't know about him, when I met him in college, he was kind of a carefree dude in college, and I kind of always was. But I didn't know that that's just like how that dude operated from the beginning. Right. And I'm glad I got a chance to tell him that it's inspiring, because he's kind of always been in that spot of, like, well, I'll just do it.
Right.
Just go, just perform, just have
totally
fun.
100%, 180 degrees from how I've been most of my life, which is that that's not a thing that I'm going to do now.
I got to overthink it and talk myself out of it.
Right.
And then be mad when somebody else just does it.
Totally. That guy's got my gig.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the cool things. I mean, if anybody can, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it, because it's pretty incredible how this guy just, like, just went and did it, just goes and
Right.
does it, like does the
Yeah.
thing. And like, Chicago wasn't working for him and he really wanted to keep doing that. So he came back here, and he didn't come. I mean, I kind of came back to Nebraska after my first stint in LA with my tail between my legs. And that was not Mike's
Same.
story.
I was
That was
the only difference is I was in Northern California.
right. But yeah, exactly. But he just came back and like killed it,
Yeah.
and
Well, he
just
had some chops in that area and some
For sure.
contacts, which helps. Like it helps to have experience. He wasn't exactly
Right.
starting from scratch.
Mhm.
I came back to Nebraska with nothing but character defects and and like seriously,
and crushing self-loathing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a really bad addiction.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
all I had. That's like what I had to offer the world.
I came back with what I thought was a broken heart at the time, when really it was just like I was just crushed by my own, gotten my own way.
Yeah.
And I
That's
thought that I'd
interesting.
failed somehow, and
That's
I did,
interesting.
and I thought that Mike didn't really, I don't know, maybe he felt some of that, but he didn't, he just kind of went after it. And I think
I got the impression he's like, you know what, this isn't really that great. This is
Yeah.
a lot harder than it probably needs to be here in this
Right.
town.
right,
I think I'm gonna pack up and go back to Nebraska.
right,
That's how I felt about that.
right.
Like
And
this is
start a
harder than
record
it
label and a
Yeah.
band with my wife and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
really cool shit.
Yeah, and have
And
like good public schools for my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And be
You
able to
know.
like buy a house.
Yeah, right. Mhm.
And I think that we can all take that away from, just kind of people like Mike, that they just, he just do it. Like,
Well, that
toot,
and that
toot
that
your
was
hooter.
that toot your hooter, man. That was it's similar to Jazari. The
Right.
thing of like nobody is giving either of those guys like permission to start
Right.
media companies
Right.
or
Exactly.
broadcasting companies or to be journalists.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's no like governing stamp. They're just like, I'm gonna be a journalist.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. That was a really cool and wonderful conversation with him too. Cause
Mhm.
to see him just do that, to just go for it. And like, he's got, I've got an iPhone and I've got a Facebook account,
I get it.
I'm going to document this piece of history.
Mhm.
And thousands of people tuned in, 2 or 3 times a week
Mhm.
when the protests were happening, and then continue to follow his work since. It's like he, an empire. I mean, he's building an empire.
Well, and that's the thing that I love, that it's kind of like have you ever read Bruce Lee's goals letter?
No, I have not.
Oh, you should Google it. Just Google like Bruce Lee's goals. Like he
Okay.
wrote out like as a young person, like by the age I think 21, he's like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be a movie star. I'm gonna be, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I actually thought of that as I was listening to Jazari talk, because he's like just has that mindset. It's like he already might as well be that because he's being that.
I did just Google that, and he said some things like, I, Bruce Lee, will be the highest paid superstar
Yep.
in the United States.
Yep.
I will return, and in return, I will give the most exciting performances and render the best of quality in the capacity of an actor.
Yep.
I will live the way I please and achieve inner harmony and happiness.
See, it's like the same thing Jazari was saying, basically.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. I'm going to do this. I mean, and there's something really powerful about writing that down and stating that, and not waiting for some gatekeeper to tell you it's okay to do it and just doing it. And that is not, I mean, Jazari definitely has some specific things that forged him into who he is.
Yes.
And I
kind of wanted to get more into that. We didn't really do that.
Yeah.
Like, how did you grow up in, what was it, St. Louis?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, were these underpinnings of just inner confidence?
Right.
Like,
Right.
where's that come from? We didn't get into that.
I know. I think I'd love to pick his brain more, because as I listened back to that after we recorded it, I kind of even made fun of my own time in show choir, and he was like,
No, that was awesome.
I remember that.
I caught that.
And he was like,
you were like self-deprecating. He was like, whatever, that was awesome.
yeah, he was like, no, that was awesome. that was great. Like, it was an amazing thing for him. And I was even apologizing for my own time in show choir, and he did not seem to apologize for anything. And that was just like, fuck yeah. Like, what an incredible example. What an incredible, like, inspiration to just be like, I apologize for nothing.
Right.
This made me who I am. And so I could take an ounce of that in looking back at things that I think I should be embarrassed about, like show choir or whatever,
That's so lame, Joel.
I know. It's not
you were
that lame.
you were a show choir guy.
But
or it's like, dude, you were a show choir guy.
Dude, it was great.
Right. See, there you go.
I learned how to fucking dance. I learned how to put myself out there.
Right.
I got to sing alongside the most attractive girls in my high school.
Boom. Right.
It was great.
It's great. See, what's not to love?
What's not to love? I got to wear really ugly vests.
Were they shimmery, sequiny?
They were shimmery.
See,
oh yeah,
I love it.
Black sequin vest, a cummerbund.
Well,
I got to wear
You have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Jazari, aside from all of those things, it was really neat that he took the time to come on. I feel like
he said, he's like, well, whenever somebody asks me to do something, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, is this like a pity interview? Is that what this is?
No, I think he just, I get he just, really loves to talk about the work he's doing.
Yeah.
And
I'm
really
mostly
wants to put
kidding. That's my low self-esteem talking.
There it is.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Right.
Well, he's doing a lot of cool stuff. I mean, his photography work, his video work is super cool. And why wouldn't?
Well, he's building an empire.
He's building an empire.
And it will probably be successful.
Yeah. I mean, it already is to a certain degree, but I think
but I mean, like large scale. Like,
right.
He'll probably actually get the Lambo money.
Jazari, if you do get that Lamborghini money, pick Steve and I up for some rides sometime at some point,
or just sponsor our little podcast.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Beyond Burger's not calling.
No, they're not calling.
But yeah, it was really cool because, like, I just, Kirsten and I this summer was like, just I set notifications on my phone, like whenever he went live, I would know, because he was the window into what was going on, and I'd kind of say, oh, they're down on 17th, let's hop on our bikes and go. I mean, it was such a cool thing to get to be a part of, and he's still making really cool, things. He's still creating content, still has his show. He actually reached out. I saw this recently. He reached out to all of the folks running for, what's the next election? City council. He reached out to everyone running and invited them to talk to him on his show. And I think like over half of them said they'd do it.
Wow.
So he's going for it,
right.
Like,
well, and that's so great, because that really is like what I was talking about with him, like as mainstream old guard local print journalism, is going through its death throes.
Yep.
He's the new thing.
Yeah. Right.
Which is great.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, I don't see Channel 8 News doing that right now.
No.
Like
right.
throwing it wide.
Well, that all goes back to it's not exactly the right term, but the fiduciary duty of those organizations is not to provide relevant journalism.
Right.
Their job is to provide maximum value for the shareholder.
Right.
Period.
Yep.
They're legally obligated to do that.
Right.
So
they can't don't teeter the boat too much, because
nope,
they won't get the money.
Right.
But when you don't, I mean, like Jazari is just really out there to, and his work is out there to just sort of promote itself, to be self-sustaining. He's his own investor. You know what I mean? Like he's his own bottom line.
He's the board of directors.
Right. He can, I mean, and that's a lesson to us all, is that if we can carve out one lane in your life where you have autonomy,
right,
where you have some autonomy over the things you say and do, like that's what this, I mean, tangentially, the question you asked was, what did we learn? But I also learned, as a byproduct of getting to talk to these really wonderful people, is that I really love having this creative outlet with you.
Me too, man. Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, totally. Like, this is It's fantastic.
It's
Just from-
great.
just a huh?
It's great.
It's great. Yeah,
It's great.
it's great.
And we have our little lane of, our little corner of autonomy, our little like
Sure.
say whatever we want
Mhm.
within reason.
Well, right. That's my senior year government teacher, Mr. McMenamin. I love you so much. Thanks for letting me just never go to your class and still give me passing grades. But I learned a lot from the guy, like seriously.
Right.
But he's the guy that told us, in civics class or government, whatever the hell they called it, is like, you can say what you want in America, just as long as you watch what you say.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. He was a total iconoclast and just a really awesome teacher.
That's Mr. Hastings for me.
Yeah.
Dave Hastings, if you're out there, if you're listening, thank you. Save my bacon.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
John McMenamin is this I say little, he was probably like 5'1", 5'2", little Irish guy, grew up on the south side of Philadelphia. He was tough as nails.
Right.
And guess how high his opinion was of Northern Virginia suburban, affluent punks.
Probably not so much.
Not very high at all.
Not very high.
No, he didn't. He got in trouble periodically for telling kids what he actually thought. But he and my buddy Chris, we had the second half of our senior year. He's like, I know you guys don't care. This is the second half of your senior year. He's like, so for the last quarter of that year, you know what we did? We watched all of the Clint Eastwood Man with No Name movies, and we watched 2 of the Dirty Harry movies, the first 2.
That's actually a really great.
Exactly. He's like, you're going to learn more from these because I know you'll be here and I know you'll watch them. And you will learn more from these movies about what you actually need to know than you would from anything in this dumb textbook.
Dude, that's so great.
It's amazing. Yeah. But I actually had Chris and I both actually had 2 classes with him in the middle, like back to back. And in the middle of that was like a 15-minute free time. So there was like a 2.5 hour window of just McMenamin, right?
Right.
So Chris, we'd roll up and stick our heads in the door. Hey, Mr. McMenamin, man, we're gonna go down to the library to study. You want us to bring you an Egg McMuffin or something? He'd like throw his erasers at us. Get the hell out of here, you goddamn,
Yeah.
And he was laughing,
Right.
Because he knew we were gonna go do what we were gonna do.
Yes.
It didn't matter.
But you felt like there was an adult that sort of got it, gave a shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't
he wasn't
going to be like,
he wasn't like trying to keep us under, like, you goddamn kids.
He wasn't Mr. Strickland in Back to the Future.
No, he was not. No. He was awesome. He met us where we were, right? And we respected the shit out of him for that.
Right.
We sometimes even went to his class.
See, it was a win-win for him. He got to, made
Pretty
sure
much.
that Steve Erbauer punk came around once in a while.
Pretty much, yeah. He was great. Loved him to death. Yeah, that was kind of a tangent, but anyway.
Yeah, well,
man.
Uh,
So then we got to talk to Mary Stancavage.
Oh my gosh.
Now tell me about how that hooked up, because to me that it seemed like you kind of knew about her from your brother, but you kind of hit her up almost as a lark.
So
is that correct?
So what happened was, I think it was a total result of that suggestion box. The suggestion box I did on Instagram, which I should do another one, where I was like, hey, what things or people should we talk about or talk to, just like threw it out there to get people to engage with the, with the Instagram. And I think it might have been my brother, might have been somebody else suggested Mary Stancavage.
Yeah.
And I tagged her in it, or somebody
tagged her.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And she responded in a private message, was like, I'm game. Sure. Let me know. I'd love to.
Cool. That's so awesome.
Oh, okay. And it was
Mary.
funny.
That was so cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Mary. Well, and when we finally got her email and we started emailing back and forth, she's like, of course I'll do it. I'm a ham,
Right.
Like, I'll do it. Yeah. And it's kind of her thing.
Awesome.
It's like,
sure.
She's spreading her work.
Right. Which is great. I've really enjoyed her podcast, like legitimately. She's already been on. I don't need to
right. Yeah.
I'm trying to butter her up. Her podcast is great. I enjoy it a lot. And I enjoyed really the intro to Buddhism thing I did over Zoom with her too. It's great.
She's doing another thing, a whole series, a once a month like, the third Saturday of every month for a year. This thing she's done it before. It's called A Year to Live. And so you do all these teachings and sort of listen and read this stuff as if you're going to die in a year. And so it's kind of all based on Dharmic principles, but at the same time, it's like grappling with your own impermanence.
Sure.
And how would you live? Like if you had the intention that you knew you were going to die in a year, well, how would that change your perspective? How would that change how you treated people, yourself, the world?
Oh, wow.
Bring you, so I'm thinking about doing that. I think the deadline's coming up to sign up, but yeah, she's doing really
So
cool
the
stuff.
answer isn't just start drinking again?
I don't think that's my answer, Steve. I mean,
if you got a year and the clock's ticking,
I might have a couple of Marlboros in front of a campfire this summer.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
legit, yeah.
But wow, what'd you learn from her? I'll let you.
Oh my gosh, there was a lot happening in there. Well, I appreciated her response to my query about like, when do you get to call yourself a Buddhist, or is that even a goal? Or and she's like, I don't even always call myself a Buddhist. I'm like, okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Right. I kind of wanted to dig more into that, because I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, Mary, if I am wrong, you can email me, but I would assume that it's like one of those things where sometimes it's skillful to refer to yourself as a thing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It'll be helpful to somebody to hear that name, that word. And then there are times where it's totally not helpful to identify as that. And that's a whole, depending on your awareness, like if you're
your audience.
Exactly. Like if you're aware of your audience, and if that will be a put off, then leave it alone. Like you don't have to, it's not like a badge you have to wear.
No.
And I think that you could open that up to a lot of other things.
Well, that goes straight back to attraction rather than promotion.
Exactly.
Like if you're out there like, I'm a Buddhist, check me out. Like people are like, oh, well, okay.
Well, yeah. If you see the Buddha on the road, kill him.
Wow.
If you, that's like, I don't even know if that's that's just a thing I hear. And I don't even know if the Buddha said it, but it's like,
you see the Buddha.
If you ever meet the Buddha on the road, kill him, because it's
not real.
That's something that you just, march around, which honestly, it was kind of like, I was really hesitant to even identify as a Buddhist for a while. And sometimes I guess I still am, but I think that put a lot of it in perspective for me, that question you asked her of like, well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like,
because like I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I like the term stream enterer.
Yeah.
Like that I will say I'm a stream enterer.
Sure.
Like I can own that and feel pretty comfortable in that designation. Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm practicing regularly.
You're a practitioner.
There you go. I'm a Buddhist practitioner.
Right. A mindfulness. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't necessarily need to be labeled.
Right. Yeah. She said that too.
Like,
just a label, like whatever.
Yeah.
And I could see like, if for the sake of expediency or efficiency, it would helpful to be say, yeah, I'm a Buddhist.
Right.
But that's not necessary.
It's not. Yeah. And I think that, it all depends on how helpful that term's going to be to your audience. And that just requires you to be really compassionate and aware of who you're talking to.
And not, some ego feeding proposition.
Yeah.
Like that's always the thing.
I'm not going to start a whole
check out my, that's just the straight Frank Zappa, like check out my malas.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to start like Joel Egger, the Buddhist Instagram page where I just post pictures of myself sitting in meditation all the time.
Then you'd be like that one guy.
Then I'd be like that one guy, and I don't want to be like that one guy.
Don't be that guy.
I did not know. And I think I know that she mentioned it in her, maybe you brought it up to her in an email exchange, and then she responded. And then I didn't really have time to really process this until we started talking to her about her recovery.
Oh, sure.
I did not. And maybe I did. Maybe somebody told me that at one point.
She brought it up, Yeah. Which is cool.
It's way cool. And I I found that to be really, I found that personally to be very helpful. Although I asked some of those questions about reconciliation of Buddhist stuff and AA stuff or recovery stuff for her. And not that I was really struggling with it, but I thought maybe there's some folks out there that could really use that, that bridge maybe. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that she was so open about that and really kind of,
No, she really seems to do all of those things in the spirit of helpfulness.
Right. Which is like so refreshing to hear, because if you put it in those terms, then you can't really fuck it up. If it's about,
you can't miss.
You can't miss.
Yeah. Well, that's what I tell people, like if they're nervous, like if they're kind of new in recovery or whatever, and they get asked to speak someplace.
Yeah.
And they're, all, nervous. And I was like, just tell your story.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just, you don't have to make anything up. It doesn't have to be a big show. In fact, it's better if it's not. It's literally, you just talk about what you used to be like.
Right.
Then you talk about what happened. And then you talk about what you're like now. And then you say thank you. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
My first guide mentor, Brandon, said from before I spoke somewhere the first time, he was like, yeah, just tell the truth.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't need to fluff it up with a bunch of stuff. Like I don't need to make up stories in order to qualify. And that's the wild thing, I guess, about kind of how Mary just sort of was open about working for Xerox and just kind of, it's like
great.
Her experience. And that's the thing we learn in recovery, is that if you're able to just state your experience and leave it at that, then you don't cross that line into puffing yourself up as somebody that you're not, or trying to proselytize. Just like, well, this is based on my experience, this is what I did.
And that's all it is.
And that's so
take
universal.
It or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's my experience has been both giving and receiving, that my story is useful to somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe not anybody in the room tonight. Right. But at some point, because there have been times when, when you least expect it, somebody has told my story.
Yeah. Right.
Usually at a time that I did not expect it to happen. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
And then there's that identification piece. And then that's,
it's always helpful. Trippy too, when somebody was like, yeah, something Joel always says. And then they say the thing. And I'm like, I always say that? Yes, I always say that. Maybe I do say that.
I love
I stole that from Steve.
Right. Or somebody will say something that I might have said like 17 years ago.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't remember. I totally don't remember saying that.
But you never know. Like if you're coming from a place of service and love to others, and you're telling your experience, your strength, your hope, that's all you can do. That's what's helpful. Like trying to shake somebody into taking better actions, it never really works.
No, it does not work. No. Frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices.
Right. Even towards yourself.
So same with trying to shame yourself into better action.
That doesn't work either.
It doesn't work either. No.
And the conversation, that was one podcast that I listened to twice, because I think I was so jacked to just listen to, just to have her
totally
around.
I listened to it twice.
So I was like, I need to comb back through that. And, I think that her, one of the things that stuck with me too, was when she talked about like, everybody's conditioned, and we want to put these certain, we want to put these certain teachers, but we also want to put these certain pathways on some sort of pedestal. And she just sort of blew that out of the water when she was talking about, the Myanmar situation. She's like, yeah, that's totally fucked and unjust what they're doing. And she called out some teachers in her own area that are like, yeah, they don't really allow women to be a part of the actual Sangha, that they can't be fully realized teachers because there's no lineage or some, antiquated thing. And she's like, that's bullshit. I appreciate her not being too precious about her own path. She's not afraid to sort of state the injustice of it too,
Yeah.
She doesn't have to wave any flags.
No.
Yes, it was really cool to have her on. That was a real gift. Yeah. So and then we had Jeremy Eberle.
Jeremy.
That was a
Mr. Eberle. Wasn't that great?
That was a great conversation.
He's so smart. Like, he's so smart.
He really is.
Mm-hmm.
And just, you can tell that somebody is really, like, I'm sure he's an amazing therapist because he was kind of calling us out on some shit too. He's like, hey, guys, think about this.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah,
he's very good at that.
Well, that's like he's actually like very accomplished in his field.
Yeah, right.
Like, he's probably one of the country's foremost experts on gambling addiction.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
I think that yeah.
Like, I guess he's published. Like, he's published
research
on it, so that puts him up there, right?
Right. He's got articles,
and he spoke at like national conferences. So
he I learned a lot about what process addiction is. I learned
that term was new to me at that conversation, so that was really great.
Oh, you hadn't heard that at
all? I had
all?
not heard that specific term before, so that was kind of one of my takeaways.
I thought that was. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, that all those things: food, sex, gambling, shopping,
social media, right?
Social media, video games. It's all a process addiction. It's not a substance addiction. It's a process addiction.
But the way that he so skillfully explained it was pretty mind-blowing to me, because he made it sound like, well, it's kind of all, because he kind of snuck it in there. It would have been great to go down that road a little bit, but he was like, it's all process addiction, really, and I was like, wow, like, I know that there's like, you give somebody enough cocaine, they're going to be addicted to cocaine. Right. Not everybody that plays slots gets addicted to slots, but
right.
It's kind of like one of those things where, whatever gives you that hit, and
right, whatever the hit needs to be.
And I've always heard those terms, and I guess I got to admit my judgment. I'll totally wrap myself out. There's a part of me that was, not that one addiction is better or cooler or whatever. It was just like,
there's some really cool ones.
Well, like I kind of relegated process addiction to something that I didn't have to really know about because it didn't affect me.
Oh, and yet
I still crave that blue light every morning from my phone.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I haven't put it down. So it just made me really aware that instead of like, because I think in some parts of the recovery community, there's like, well, if it's not, I'm going to try to do Steve's sarcastic voice. Well, if it's not, chemicals or whatever, then it's not real, or, I'm doing a really
Jack, not name, Jack job.
My Sweetums, the sarcastic Sweetums voice. Yeah, I will no longer adjust. I mean, it's not not every addiction is the same addiction. I don't get.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not getting into the ring with gambling, but I get in the ring with other stuff that lights me up just as bad, or good.
Well, I definitely, I'm not a hard line singleness of purpose guy.
Yeah.
But I do subscribe to the belief that the people that say that, like, I can't remember who said it. It was probably Clancy I from up in the sky. Right. But I think, the people that say that it's all the same thing run a treatment center that only has one van.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, but I think there's some real truth to the whole, like, the process of specific identification. Like if somebody's trying to get clean from coke and they're going to talk to somebody who's a video game addict, there may be a few hurdles to jump through.
There's not going to be a lot of identification there.
Right. And if anybody's out there that is, still kicking around,
if you ever lived in your car for 6 months because you needed to do blow,
right,
or lost a family because you needed to do blow, or
probably find the people, Narcotics Anonymous, or the people that know how to speak your language.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's, I can get into that whole thing. I don't think it's necessary, but I really enjoyed, it was just great to see Jeremy, because we don't see each other very much anymore,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Times have changed, and but it's always nice to like, his like he's doing very well. It's very cool. I'm very
Yeah, dude, he's
very
killing
happy,
it.
and I'm just proud of him.
Yeah, dude. Right.
We've all known each other a long time, and it's
Hmm.
always nice to see a hometown boy make good.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to talk to some pretty cool people.
Yeah, we'd be remiss to not mention Brian too, Brian Scott.
I was
I
just
think we
thinking
talked
about
about
the economy. And
him.
somebody messaged us about that. I think I can't remember who. It might have been our friend Elisa saying, still kind of mind blown of that. Like the best economy is the one that benefits the most people.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know?
goal. Like that should be the goal. It's Brian's goal as an economist is to maximize good for the most people. Like that should be the goal.
Yeah.
And that we're so just far away from that
Right.
as a nation
Right.
and as a
Right.
planet.
The goal seems to be to step on as many people as you can to get yours.
Yeah. And to
You
keep
know.
it. Mm-hmm.
And to hear an economist sort of talk about that as, a very altruistic principle just within that world, that, system, that
Mm-hmm.
ideology, whatever it is, like to talk about true altruism as an actual benefit to that. Those words did not ever, those two things did not ever come together.
Right. And that kind of just the way, and Brian's always kind of been like this. And I've known him as my oldest friend, but he's always been the rational one.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way he just says that so matter of factly.
Yeah.
That's just it. He's not standing on a soapbox on a street corner with a sandwich board saying most good for the most people.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's just what I'm teaching.
I bet his students are really getting something out of that, though. I mean,
think
that's
so. I would hope so.
A great way to affect a lot of
His
people
students
like
probably have no idea how lucky they are.
they probably don't, right? Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Zwingman.
Yeah. That
We haven't
goes
really
way back.
That goes all the way. He was our first guest.
Yeah, that was like our third episode. Is that what these are? Episodes?
These are episodes, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike is a really, really smart dude. And he's now like in charge of like the Western Hemisphere in his job.
That's amazing.
Isn't he? He's like from Canada, America, Mexico, Central America. So I'd like he pretty much runs the Western Hemisphere at that company.
He's the Time Lord.
Yes.
Mike's an inside joke. Sorry,
he's a Time Lord.
That don't know that, but that's yeah. Well, I drive by a lot of fields on my way to work, and I think about Mike every day.
I think about Mike a lot because he really likes to dig in the dirt. He put a drain tile on the side of my house, and there's no more water in my basement. So there's that. I think about Mike in that way. Right? But yes, the nitrates in the soil and what it can, the farmers. I mean, I don't know. It's just really, we have some pretty interesting friends, and those were just folks. I mean, Mary and Jazari with Standing. These are just people that, I mean, it's like, I guess to our listeners, because this could just be like you and I, like, you remember that Chris Farley sketch on SNL? It was just like, when he was talking to Paul McCartney, he's like, "Hey, Paul, remember that time you were in the Beatles? That was awesome." Like, yeah, that was awesome. We talk to those people. What does it matter? Right. I think it's like, if you just thought about the last 5 people you texted with or called on the phone or went on a walk with, they're fascinating. You're one of those people if you're out there, but they're fascinating people that do really interesting things in the world, even if they're just like a CPA or a school bus driver. Like, I went on a walk with Greg Wright. He drives a school bus, but he was really, really, really all about like making sure that, the comeback to school in the fall was safe. And he was a part of organizing and talking to teachers and making sure the school board knew the problem. I mean, our friends are fascinating folks.
Yeah. Well, Rob Bell talks about that.
Yeah.
Like, you just run into people that are very passionate. If you run into somebody that's very passionate about what they do, it doesn't matter what they do. It'll be fascinating and it'll be energizing.
Right. And that you can, I love when he talks about how, and I may butcher the whole idea, but basically that anybody, you can't claim to not be creative.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That there's
I
so many people like, I'm not creative. It's like bullshit. You do a spreadsheet really well. That takes a
I talked
creative.
about that one of our podcasts. Like this woman that I work with is a wizard at Excel.
Right.
She solved a problem for me that I would have taken me weeks to figure out, and she did it in
Mhm.
about 30 seconds, and was like, "That was fun." And I was like, "I'm so glad you think so," because
Because it ain't me, babe.
it ain't me, babe. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That everybody, I mean, anybody in your vicinity, I guess, you know, it'd be cool if everybody out there just spent, 10 minutes talking to their best friend about what is tripping them out right now. What are they interested in? What are they fascinated by? What do they do? And get to know them on what they create at work. Even if they think it's stupid and boring, it can't be,
That's something that, um, it makes me think about people that don't have that for whatever reason. Maybe they're just assholes, but I mean, there's always that. But
that don't have like people in their lives like that.
yeah, they can have those conversations with.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
They're just kind of existing in this limbo state of purgatory. Yeah, I'm searching for a word here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that, like, living lost souls,
Yeah.
they
Right.
don't have um connections like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of heartbreaking to think about,
Yeah.
because like I think back to a number of years ago, like for example, when I was having a hard time and you sent me that Breathe song by Pearl Jam.
Yeah. Right.
Like that probably saved my life.
Mm. Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was exactly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, just
Yeah.
to think, just like that song says, we're very fortunate.
Yeah. I'm a lucky man to count on both hands the ones I love.
Mhm.
Some folks, they got one, while others, they got none.
Right.
Like the difference between one person and none persons.
Big. It's a big
It's
difference.
night and day, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I just lost my thought.
I guess that's a great reminder, Steve, that like, there are folks out there that may have felt like they've burned too many bridges to actually have those connections.
That's bullshit.
And I think that's bullshit. I mean,
But
it's just
there may need to be some corrective action taken. Right.
you may need to admit some mistakes first, and then you
Right.
can mend that bridge,
Right,
perhaps.
right.
But I think
Mhm.
that's always possible.
But that's one thing, that one idea that I'm a really big fan of, and that is the notion that if you are willing to acknowledge that you have a part, like that there have been wrongs committed by yourself, I would say, like, if I have acknowledged that, then all of that is immediately washed away.
Yeah.
And you can be free of that.
Yeah.
And then there's some responsibility that comes with that freedom,
Right.
to clean up a mess if there is one, directly.
Right.
And then to not live that way anymore.
Well, it's the difference between saying I'm sorry versus I was wrong.
Yeah, totally. Big difference. Huge difference.
Like when you say you're sorry, it's like I'm sore. I feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I feel bad.
I feel bad.
So even though I totally wronged you, somehow you should feel bad for me.
Yeah. I stole your record collection and melted it in a fire while on mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about that. Are we good?
Are we good? Are we good? No.
No, we're not good. I want my fucking records back.
I want my REO Speedwagon back.
I want my Night Flight compilation record back.
Yes. Is that a K-Tel joint?
Yeah, we've done
Tell me
that.
that's right. We've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Angel. It closes with Angel of the Morning.
I'm not doing it. I can't.
Please sing it.
I'm not doing it.
It's got Here I Am by Air Supply on it.
Oh my God.
It's got the theme from The Greatest American Hero.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so good.
I want to put it on. It's got Being With You, because that's like the theme right here. Being with you.
Oh, buddy.
Being with you. This is a tangent and the kombucha's kicking in. I put myself out there. There's this
Joel's getting lit, everybody.
it's not boozy at all. Don't worry. our friend Matt Marnowski invited me to this page that you should be on
Okay.
Facebook called Cover Your Ears.
Uh-huh.
And it's just random folks in the community. They pick a theme every week, and you just pick a cover and you play it and you put a video out there. I did one that last week's theme was
how did I not know this?
I don't know, but I need to invite you to it.
Yeah, you do.
It's Mike's in that too. But I did it my first song, and you'll love this because it reminds me of the Wall of Forever, our band, which we haven't talked about on this podcast.
We need to do the reunion tour.
But the thing was songs from the year you were born, and I was scrolling through on Google songs from the, and I'm like, nah, and then Air Supply, All Out of Love came on. And
good.
And I picked up
All
the
Out
chords,
of Love.
and
I'm
I
so
put it
lost
out there.
without you.
I knew what is it? I knew you were right.
We
Believing
gotta
for
get
so
the
long.
band back together, man.
So those of you that don't know, Steve and I, a few years ago, we had this wild idea that we would do very earnest covers of cheesy 80s ballads and like yacht rock and and the band's name was Wall of Forever, based on the Neil deGrasse Tyson Cosmos, whatever. We had we had
have to go back and look at the set lists.
I know that Can't Fight This Feeling was on there.
Yep. Gotta Keep on Loving You.
But but we did change the lyrics to Keep on
a little bit.
Yeah.
About what it's actually about.
That's what it's about. I mean, there's no
I don't want to sleep. I just want to keep on.
Oh my, I still have the I'm going to share this. I have the Spotify playlist.
Oh, good.
Talk Dirty to Me. I think didn't we do a broken down, like soft version of Talk Dirty to Me by Poison?
Then we also, I don't know if it exactly fit our MO, but we did the Johnny Cash singing Run to the Hills.
Yeah. We did a pretty damn good version of Broken Wings by Mr. Mister.
That's a great song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. I love that song. Legit.
Rosanna.
Oh, so good.
That song's amazing.
Also a great song. Toto was a great band.
I can't wait to share this split.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. Where we head? We're not done, right? We're not done with this podcast. We're not quitting today.
I feel like we're just getting started, kind of.
I think so too.
Our next guest is going to be great. I got to remind him that he's on, but my friend Charlie from Colorado will be a very interesting conversation. He's a good dude.
I think that,
and
you know what too, and I think Kirsten alluded to this. We were talking about it. She's noticed that you and I have gotten better about just being tuned in, being what does Marin call it? He's like locked in to the conversation.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten better. I think that those first 3 or 4 episodes, it was just pure adrenaline.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah.
But like, I think
we were off and running.
Yeah.
Because that was exciting. And it's like, it was just like talking about like nobody gave us permission to do this. We just did the thing.
We gave ourselves permission.
Totally. Yeah.
I had barely any anxiety getting on the mic tonight. Like in the first few episodes, I'd kind of be like, I'd like
see. That's interesting. I didn't really know that, and I really have never had anxiety. A little bit leading up to some of the guests.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't had zero anxiety about any of this, because it's like the stakes are so high.
Well, congratulations, Steve, that you've had no anxiety. But I was the first few, I was sweating it a little bit because
really?
I wanted
to be really good.
Yeah, I was like pushing for it to be, and it's like, dude, it's just talking to you,
right?
But yeah, I mean, you want to kind of put it on for guests. You want to make them feel welcome and considered and shit.
Well, I hope everybody feels welcome.
I think they do. We haven't gotten any hate. We haven't gotten. Nobody unfollowed us.
One person unfollowed us on Instagram. Our count went down one. I noticed. I'm kind of.
But it wasn't anybody that or none of our guests did that.
Oh, I would hope not. I don't know. I guess I haven't looked that close for being obsessive about it. That's interesting.
I didn't even count. I haven't counted.
Well, I was all excited when we broke 100 followers on the Instas.
It's huge.
Now I think we're at like 135. So clearly the Lambo money's coming.
It's coming any day.
Yeah.
Do you know how ridiculous a Lamborghini would look in either of our driveways?
Very like totally insanely. It's be worth more than either of our houses.
Yeah, I would. Like by a long, like
Yeah.
many times over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell
Well,
you? Did I tell you? I did. I told you that I am the country band thing.
oh
I'm
yeah.
not doing that because I got
Steve quit
invited.
the country band.
I quit the country band because I got invited to join Exile on O Street, which is
Yes.
Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Rolling Stones cover band. Tribute.
Dude.
It's a tribute band.
It's a tribute band.
It's a tribute band. And I'm so incredible. I haven't been this excited about really anything in years, besides maybe this. But I mean, like, I've wanted to play one of my running jokes, kind of self-deprecating humor is people say, how did you end up in like IT? What you do for a living? I said, well, because the only thing I've ever actually genuinely, truly wanted to do was play guitar on the Rolling Stones since I was like 9.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that I've ever actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Keith Richards, he just keeps going, and Ronnie Wood's sticking around. So getting invited to play in this band,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be a kick in the ass, man. It's
So
gonna
how
be
did
so
that
much fun.
how did that go down?
Just we our mutual friend Eric
Hey
called somebody I know looking for a guitar player, and he's like, well, I can't do it, but I know this guy Steve that could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric was like, I know Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I got together with the other guitar player, the guy that's effectively like plays the Keith Richards part.
Mm-hmm.
And we got on great, man. Like we immediately, now he's a much better player than I am. He's a much more experienced player, but he's very generous,
Mm-hmm.
and is already just the 2 hours we've been together already mentored me a little bit, which was great in a way
That's
that
awesome.
was like, not like you need to be this way so that we can be good. He was just like generously saying like, okay, you're good. What, try this maybe.
Well, or like you're gonna enjoy this a little bit more if you can
Yes.
feel it versus
Well, there was like, for example, okay, here's a lesson. So we ran through Dead Flowers, kind of a country thing,
Yeah.
Great song. I just love that song so much. It's just this gigantic, yeah, I'm going down, fuck you song. It's great. It's so much fun. But we ran through it and we stopped and like, I know the song, we played it, the arrangement, and we stopped and he said, so how'd that feel to you? And I said, I don't know, felt okay. He said, did it feel a little weird? And I said, well, yeah, I suppose so. And he said, well, why do you think that is? And I said, I don't know. He said, let's try it again, but this time relax.
Mm-hmm.
Just relax. Like it's, it's a kind of a country rock song, but it's also the Rolling Stones and they're not in a hurry.
Right.
Like just so because I was kind of singing it so we could have a time, like the framework I was singing, and I get kind of aggressive, so I didn't sing and I just kind of, I'll use the word term noodling, but I just kind of loped through the song and it was so much better.
Yeah. Wow.
Just relax your body and just I was forcing it. I was trying to force it to be something that it didn't need to be.
Dude, that's like a universal lesson right there.
100%. Yeah. And it was a great moment because there was nothing demeaning about it. He wasn't even saying like, this isn't like, you're not good enough for the band.
Yeah.
He was just saying, didn't that feel better?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because he wants he wants you to have a good time. Because if you're having a good time, the band sounds better. I mean, that's the great thing about the Stones is they're having the fucking time of their lives.
Right. They're 100% having their cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way down the line.
How many songs do you have to have in your arsenal?
Their set list is 44 songs in it.
Like a nightly set list? Like they would play 40.
The set list has 44 songs in it.
So wait. They play 44 songs when they play a show?
Yeah, it's like 4 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I know it's going to be amazing. Like I can't wait either.
I'm so glad I got the vaccine so I could go party for 4 hours with these people.
Yeah. And I was talking with my guitar teacher, Mark Leaker. Huge shout out to Mark, who's great. Mark. But he plays in the Jerry Pranksters, the Grateful Dead tribute, and he also plays in Peach Truck, the Allman Brothers tribute. He plays a mean slide guitar. But I'm like, dude, that band shell at Antelope Park? with that white band shell where we did the outdoor yoga thing and all that.
Yep.
Like, why don't we get these bands together and just play in it for an afternoon?
Oh, that'd be so great.
The Almonds, the Dead, and the Stones.
I'm in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how fun would that be?
That'd be amazing. The only thing about Lincoln City Park is you can't drink booze, so everybody would have to like sneak it in their car or something.
Like that's ever been a problem.
That's not been a problem.
Like, wow. Like the crowd for those concerts, like, oh, you mean we can't bring alcohol on the premises? What are we going to do?
I'm such a fucking rule follower, man. God damn it.
Come on, Joel.
I really killed the rock and roll vibe there, didn't I?
But what about Steve? What about the rules? The city has rules. I don't think we could.
Exactly,
dude. That would be fucking awesome.
Wouldn't that be great? And you could like set up tents and shit.
Yes,
on that big grass area,
dude. You know what you do is you call like 4 or 5 of the best food trucks.
I had that thought too. Have them line up on the street and.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be amazing? And it really wouldn't be that. See, we could just do that.
Can we just do that?
Unless the city got all uptight about the food trucks, which they might, but.
Well, they have food truck rallies all the time.
Yeah, but not necessarily in city parks. Now we're into the logistical hurdles.
Well, no, they do at Stransky.
Oh, really?
When they do the Stransky thing.
Okay, great. So there we have it.
We got to talk to Mike because Mike's the kind of guy that could put that shit together.
Right.
He can do that. He does that shit in his sleep.
Right. So, yeah. But I mean, that was, and so I was talking to Mark because I had my guitar lesson tonight, and he's like, I kind of had that same thought too. So I feel like this could happen this summer.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, that's close to where the bike gang kind of starts and ends. So we can do a bike tour and end up
at a rock concert. Every time I ride by there, I'm like, why are there not like more shows here?
I know. Yep. I know.
Because it's such a nice little park, nice little band show. Yeah.
Well, Mike did a Sower Fest there once.
Oh, really?
Jack Hotel and Bottle Tops and a bunch of other folks played.
I don't remember that. Now I'm already thinking like we'll have to get some Porta Johns.
That's whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I'll chip in for the Porta Johns.
Sweet. All right. We got a promoter. We got a backer.
Dude. Oh my God. They just got me excited because opening day of baseball was today and I watched the Cubs lose, which is kind of,
So I guess
that's kind of
Jack. Hi, Jack.
Like the year.
Jack's laughing right now.
I know it's like the yearly tradition.
Right.
But there were actual human beings in Wrigley Field. It kind of brought a tear to my eye because last year there was nobody, or they had these cardboard cutouts. There was actual live human beings there.
Wow.
Like singing along to take me out to the ball game.
I get it, man. That's legit.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know about returning to normal, but returning to take me out to the ball game at Wrigley Field.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And returning to being spread out on blank. I don't want to be next to sweaty people anyway, like at Pinewood Bowl. Like I'll pay an extra $100 so I don't have to get elbow greased by, some 60-year-old at the Steely Dan show. Sorry. I'm
that
fine.
Was really specific.
I know that happened. That's great. Yeah, I'll pay an extra $100 to just like have my pod.
That's
I want
the thing,
my pod.
man. That band Goose that I was listening to for a while. I found them on YouTube. I don't know how it popped up from the algorithm or something, but the video was them playing a concert in Connecticut where your ticket was for an 8x8 space.
Right.
That you could have like 4 people in or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm like, that's amazing.
Kirsten and I looked into and tried to find a weekend to pay a kind of ridiculous amount of money to go see the Flaming Lips in their inflatable bubbles.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, the thing about the bubble thing is that you get in the bubble and if you leave the bubble to go to the bathroom, you have to put the mask on, all that. But it's also like, there's no like ventilation system. Right. So they've worked it out. It's like, condensation and, from your own breath and the, but Kirsten and I were
actually doesn't sound that fun to me. Maybe for 5 minutes. And then I'm like, I want out of this now.
I kind of think my claustrophobia might kick in, and then I just spent $350 to be in a bubble
that I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
I do love Wayne Coyne though. So
yeah, I
mean, he's a genuinely just far out dude.
He's a wild man.
He's a wild man. Yeah.
I think that though,
but he's actually like, but he's actually really thoughtful. Yeah, whatever. Like just listening to interviews with him, I'm like, he's just a normal dude that
He's
just
a normal
has.
dude.
He's a normal dude that
Mhm.
has this really incredible creative streak in him.
Yeah, right.
That again, he's like, nobody's giving me permission to do this.
Exactly.
That goes back to that thing that Garcia said. Like, if a situation calls for you to be outrageous, be as outrageous as humanly possible.
God, I love
And
that.
I think Wayne Coyne does that.
100% with
Yeah,
the
it's great.
balloons and the huge, the confetti
light
canyon,
Yeah.
the confetti cannons.
When I saw him at whatever Maha festival, he was standing on top of this podium with these like LED tentacles going out all over the stage. And it was like, oh my God, what's happening? It was great.
We might get some outdoor shows this summer, man.
That'd be good.
I think that might happen. Dude, if we could get the Peach Truck, is that what it's called?
Peach Truck, yeah, Allman Brothers. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Peach Truck
My
and
speaker
Jerry
does a
Pranksters.
Dwayne
and
Allman.
Exile.
Mhm.
Exile. What would be the billing then?
I don't know. Whatever.
The Allman Brothers first.
I don't know, man. That's I'm labor.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll I don't know, roll the dice or something. It would probably make the most.
The tumbling dice.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you start me up, I'll never stop. So.
Oh God. I can't. Yeah, man, that would be great. I mean, I was gonna come see your country show no matter what, but I'd much rather see
those guys and
stomp around playing.
They've already got like another guitar player, so that makes me happy.
Good. Yeah. You didn't.
And that was fun, but this is like, it's a quasi dream come true. So
you get to play.
I get to play all those songs. Like I
all
love
those.
There's so many good songs.
44 songs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of songs.
When I saw Ween, they played 44 songs.
Where?
The night before you saw them in Omaha and Lawrence, Kansas with Casey and Ron.
Oh, they played 44 songs.
Yeah. Yeah, they played for 4 hours. It was insane.
They did not play for 4 hours when I saw them.
Well, that's because they were exhausted from the night before.
Damn it.
Seriously, 2 hours into that concert, all I wanted was a glass of ice water and like a place to sit for a few minutes. It was just brutal. And they just kept 2 more hours. It was insane. It was insane.
They strapped on that jammy.
They strapped on the jammy pack and then beat us with it. Like it was fantastic.
I want to go to a show.
Yeah, I know, man. Me too.
Well, we're learning a lot, man. I'm really, really grateful for this podcast.
Me too.
It's such a I don't know. It's cool to have. I got invited to be on another podcast, by the way.
Really?
I didn't tell you this. We're trying to work out the dates, but so wild story. Speaking of concerts, a few summers ago, well, it was around in May because it was the finals week and I didn't have a final that day. I'm literally sitting on the toilet doing my business.
Uh-huh.
Kirsten is out of town.
Mhm.
I have some extra cash in my bank account. I look and see that A Perfect Circle is playing in Omaha.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I bought a single ticket in the front row, treated myself, went that night. Texted Kirsten, I'm like, I'm going to a show. She's like, great. I sit next to this dude, Adam, and it was his first sober show. We struck up a conversation.
Oh wow.
Just got sober, whatever. So he has this podcast all about like 90s stuff. And I'm like, dude, have you had a show about Seattle grunge and Pearl Jam? And he's like, no. He's like, would you do it? I'm like, of course I'll do it. So
that's awesome.
I'm doing a little cross-pollination podcast.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's huge. When's that going down?
I think we're going to try to make it happen in a couple of weeks. We'll see.
Nice.
I'll definitely let our dozens of listeners know.
Dozens.
But I'm trying to find, I forget the name of his podcast, but I'll put it out there when it,
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah. Less Than 2000 is the name of the podcast.
Less Than 2000.
Less Than 2000. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's all things 80s and 90s. So it's perfect.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Because this whole podcast is because of me having a flash during a sit about just exercising creativity.
Love it.
And needing an outlet to do something.
And now you're playing Rolling Stones music.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we got a really sweet guest next week. I'm really stoked about that.
Mr. Charlie.
Mr. Charlie told me so.
Yep.
And if anybody out there has ideas, topics, guests they think would be interesting, send them our way. We'll sift through that.
TTBB podcast at gmail.com.
Follow us on the grams.
Trying to be better podcast.
If I
should unify that. We need to get our brand management person to get some synergy happening with our.
What's non-synergistic? What did I do?
Well, because our email is TTBB podcast, and the Insta handle is trying to be better podcast, and there's just some incongruity there. And you just froze up.
Recording,
huh?
You froze for a minute.
Oh
shit! It's the universe telling us we should wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah, so we need to start doing this in person. I think we can do that.
Okay, so 2 weeks from tonight is tax day, is my 20-year
that's right,
sobriety birthday.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think Kirsten and I are going to try to actually go out to eat in a restaurant. So maybe we find a time right around there when I'm technically all of the devil's sweat that's been injected into my arms actually starts taking effect.
Yeah, devil's sweat. I love it. Dude, Holly and I went and ate at Rutabagas on Sunday. Nice. It was delicious. It was amazing. It was so good. Rutabagas,
vegan comfort food.
It was amazing. I expected to be good. I did not expect it to be amazing. I am not a vegan person. I like to eat meat, and I walked out of there completely satisfied and blown away at how good it was.
Yep.
I mean, like the part of me that needs to eat, probably just a little bit too much, was totally satisfied. Right? Like I didn't walk out of the thing like, okay, so can we go get some food now?
The part of you that needs to eat, I saw you at Fare Thee Well in Chicago, go down to the fucking concession and get like 2 of those insane huge fucking hot beef sandwiches and like a chili dog or something.
You know why? Because I love Chicago hot beef, and I knew that I wasn't going to want to deal with it later.
Yeah,
I was front loading.
Yeah. Everybody should go to a big show like that with Steve, because he knows how to roll. He knows what to do and when.
Yeah. Not my first rodeo. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to do that together.
Yeah. So we should, when the devil's sweat is fully coursing through my veins and the mark of the beast takes form on my forehead, we should get together and actually do this live.
I love it. That'd be good.
Yeah.
I still think we should do it. Just do a guerrilla show, a live show on the dock at the mill.
I'm in.
Just unfurl a banner. I'll bring my laptop. We'll get a little battery powered mixer and we'll just do it.
I'm totally in.
Live.
Yeah. We could do it at the band shell. It's like right down the
We set up a folding table and some chairs and a banner.
I'm 100% in for that.
I love it. I got a folding table. Let's do it.
People can come watch. It would be like, those live podcasts with like 3 people out there. It would be awesome.
It'd be awesome. By the end of it, maybe we'll have like a dozen.
Yeah, we'll have a dozen people.
Like, what's going on? I don't know. These guys are doing a show of some kind.
I'm totally in.
We'll add the theater of the absurd element to the podcast.
Yes. It'll be great. I have a shitty card table. We'll bring some iced tea. It'll be great. I'm 100% down for that.
You know what we need? We need to find somebody that'd be willing to, about every 5 or 10 minutes, bring us towels so we can pat our foreheads like Elvis or something.
Yes. Yeah. Come with the shawl like James Brown and try to take us off, and we keep back.
No, I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
We're doing it. It's going to happen. You heard it. Trying to be better live at the band shell. With the locusts in the background.
Why not?
It'll be great. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
Toot your hooter.
Toot your herder.